How's it, guys? Another episode of the NFT show with Philip and Morland.
We're back again. How's it going,
Back
guys?
again. We'll be with you for the next 40 years. You
Hopefully.
know, we'll be with you the whole night, like that whole thing. I'll be with you the whole night. When you're in a comedy show and the guy's shit and there's no laughs, and then he
Oh.
says, "Oh, I'll be with you the whole night." So that was like, I'll be with you for the next 40 years. So let's go through a bit of news before we get into tonight's main topic. So just going to share my screen here. We've had a record month already in January, and we are only the 18th of January. So you can see by this graph here, OpenSea monthly volume. This is January, this line here, and we are higher than we've ever been before, ever, and it's already the 18th. It's only the 18th of the month. At $3.7 billion so far this month spent just on OpenSea on NFTs. Now, obviously, there's a lot of different platforms. OpenSea is the biggest, but there's other ones that are doing volume. So that's incredible. I mean, how's
That's
that?
crazy. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
insane. When you think about it that way, that's just OpenSea, and there's also the whole like Solana ecosystem. Cardano NFTs have been kind of popping off lately, so it's insane. Tons of money
yeah.
flowing into the space.
Yeah, and then without reading too much into it, it does look a little bit like we're coming off the highs for now. So you can see here we had that record day over there on the 9th of January, and then a big drop, then it built up again. It does seem to be coming off. Usually during the week, it tapers off anyway, which you can see here. But yeah, hard to predict from it. Just important to see that, yeah, it's been a record month. And then, interestingly enough, if you go into Google Trends, this is for how many people have searched for the term NFT on Google in the last 12 months.
Wow.
I mean,
It,
how's that?
it just keeps climbing and climbing.
Yeah,
More and more people are just trying to find out about what the heck NFTs are.
yeah. I mean, up until about end of November, end of August, the highest on this chart was 25, and now it's at 100. So people are searching 4 times more now than they were at the end of August for the term NFT on Google. And what's interesting and ties in with what we were saying, China is number one. And that is why you are starting to see these Asian NFTs really taking off. I don't want to put Asian NFTs in its own little box. Anyway, maybe, the East inspired or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, number one is China. As we know, NFTs are being allowed, and cryptocurrency is not. So if you want to get involved in cryptocurrency in some sort of way, the way to do it, if you live on that side, is to buy NFTs. So that's quite incredible, and that does explain to us why we're seeing what we're seeing. I don't know, Morland, if you remember when we looked at Irene Dow, when Toka.
Yes. No, I
Did you?
remember, and I saw it today or yesterday on OpenSea. It's above 1 ETH
bro,
for one.
bro, it hit. Listen to me. It hit 5 Ethereum
Oh my
2 days
god.
ago.
For what? What
Okay,
does it do? What is it? I don't I guess it's a DAO, but I don't understand.
but I mean that's just incredible. It
It's
really it
crazy.
really is. It really is. I don't know if you can pull it up.
Let me see if
If
I
you
can
can,
find it. Yeah.
Irene down, and then I'll
It'll
just carry on.
it'll
Then
probably be
about
on the trending.
some news for today. Unisoft and Rebelbots have announced a partnership. I don't want to say I told you so, but I'm going to say I told you so. A week and a half ago on the show, I heard through good sources, and I told you it wasn't 100%, but I was 99% sure that Ubisoft and Rebelbots were going to announce a partnership. It has just been announced about an hour or two ago officially Rebelbots had an AMA, and they announced it. So yeah, I bought it to you at about zero point 0.3. It's now 0.79. It's hard to know whether the news is priced in already or not. I can't imagine it's not going to go up from here, but I've been wrong before, and I'll show you case in point of when I was wrong before. Our good friends Oxa Origin. We featured them on the show as one of our hyped upcoming projects. The artist on this project was who did he? What that artist?
So there was three of them: Maxime Laure and Gaetan, and they all were high profile. Like worked for Ubisoft, Disney. So worked on the Avengers and The Witcher. This guy worked for Netflix. So we had high expectations for this artwork. And
Yeah, I mean, you honestly you can't get better than that on paper. But I want to just show you. So this one was when we spoke on Friday. It was sitting about 1.5 ETH, but that was top trading on OpenSea for 24 hours. And I even said it's going to hit 4 or 5 because it already shot up in 6 hours to that sort of volume. It went all the way to 2. They revealed quite quickly, and when they revealed, the artwork is just horrible. I'm sorry to say, but really horrible.
I
It
think what
looks
I
it
think
looks
honestly,
superimposed. It looks superimposed.
yeah, it's not, but I think what's happening here is because it's a game, right? The whole idea behind Oxa Origin was that it's going to be a high quality studio game, right? So those look like in-game graphics, in-game character graphics to me, right? It doesn't look like something you'd hang on your wall. So that has to be kept in mind as well, I think. But yeah, like it could have been a little bit more polished, I think. Like
What do you mean a little bit more? If can you see this
yeah, the
looks cut
beard.
out?
Yeah, the
I'm
beard
making this
looks
bigger.
yeah.
I don't know if you can see this.
No, I can
Look at
see it.
the.
I see the beard looks like it
I
looks
mean, it honestly looks like someone did
somebody
this in
used paint
clip
and
art.
paint
Yeah,
and yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
my bro, and these are supposed to be top artists. So it just shows you that no matter what research you do with new projects, there's always this as a risk. And as a result, there was one where the guys. It looks like the guy. I mean, I'm gonna show you. There must be one on the floor. He's got a blue freaking thing around him. It looks like he's, I don't know, on an air mattress. It's just, I wish I could find it. I'll
Yeah,
try
we
to
knew
find it.
which trade it was. But this
Yes.
is definitely a good point on you never really know, right? Like it looks great on paper and
And you can see that the floor price has understandably gone to absolute hell. Look, they have said on their Discord that they will be redoing the artwork.
oh
I
really?
don't know. Yeah, but by then, who knows? It's very difficult to come back from this. The good news is they sold out at a zero point 0.4 ETH mint, which means they've got the budget to bring it around. Some people may say now's a good time to buy. I would wait to see if they do fix the artwork properly before I do that, because the truth is the artwork is the first thing that you see. And I mean, guys are selling. This guy sold a top 1% for 0.79 ETH. You know, so people are upset, and people have gotten out of it. So it just goes to show you, if you had said to me, do you want to buy in at 1 Ethereum? Do you want to buy in at Irene Dow, or do you want to buy Oxa Origin?
Yeah.
What would anyone have said?
Yeah. What's
And
Irene
now,
Dow?
Irene Dow. I don't know. Do you
I
have
have
do you
it
have
up.
Irene
Yeah,
Dow?
it's sitting at 1.34 ETH.
Shas
There it is.
1.34. Okay,
There's the
so
floor.
if you had timed it right, you could have sold out at 5 ETH. I would have bought into Oxa Origin. I would have bet my life on it. Oxa Origin's at 0.3. These guys are at 1.3 and hit 5. So it just goes to show you this space is very, very risky, no matter how much research you do. And in the end of the day, you should only really invest with money that you can afford to lose. And tread carefully. Now there's different strategies that come into buying NFTs, and it's not either or. There's many different types of them. It's very much like the stock market. You do get your more established projects, your call them blue chips, right? Which is not the right term, because typically a blue chip's been around for 10 years and has a board and whatever. But in the NFT space, you call them blue chips. Like examples of this are Cool Cats, Bored Ape Yacht Club, even World of Women has been around a long time and been consistent and delivered, and many, many more. Right, Gutter Cats, I would say, is getting there for sure. So those are your blue chip shares, and then you get your small cap shares, which are a lot cheaper. And if you buy 1,000 small cap shares, some of those companies long term are going to end up doing well, and you might end up with a blue chip. And that's the same. It's the same here. And you've really got to see your risk level or your risk tolerance, and then decide accordingly what suits you best. Could be one approach, it could be the other, or could be a mixture of both of them. Now, there's definitely benefits to investing in short-term projects, and there's benefits to investing for the long term. I'm going to be covering what we're calling flipping or paper handing, where you're investing for relatively short term. And Morland's going to be covering the diamond hand or the long-term investment approach, right? Now, at the moment, we know the market is booming. We just showed you, and there are really people making a fortune. I mean, there's a guy who bought a Doodles at $5,000 and sold it 4 days later for $325,000. Right?
Oh,
so I mean, it's
that's
life changing.
Life
Yeah.
changing.
Now, those cases are few and far between. And you've got to know that. You've got to know going in, it's risky. Do your own research. That's why everyone says, do your own research. We aren't giving you financial advice. We're assuming you're in the space and you're going to be here. And we want to try and just give you some of what we've learned and some tools that will up your chances of being successful in the space. But in no way does any of this guarantee success in any way. So just be aware of that going in. And obviously, the more time you spend in the NFT space, the easier it becomes to recognize the trends and to spot red flags and things like that. And obviously, time does help a lot. But another thing is that the NFT space is constantly changing. So certain things that were red flags previously are no longer so important, and other things that were bullish recently and very positive for a project are no longer the case. So it is a very difficult space to master, and that's why we always say we know nothing. We just going to share with you, and hopefully something helps you on your NFT journey.
Learn from our mistakes. That's what we're trying to do here.
If you can. So we're going to take you through the benefits and the risks of both approaches, so that you can decide on your best strategy. So with flipping, straight away people assume it means like buying immediately and with the intention of selling immediately, like within the next few hours, even minutes. And that is one of the approaches. One of the approaches is just to identify the short-term trends, and there's some tools that you can use to identify those trends. So if you go, for example, I'll take you to IC Tools, and if you have a look here, IC Tools will show you I've got five minutes selected here. So this is I've paid for IC Tools. It's not too expensive, especially if you're in the space. I think it was 0.1 ETH, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I think. But if you don't pay for it, you can only see, I think, 30 minutes trends, right? Now, this is going to show you the top project sales on OpenSea for the last 30 minutes. And you can see the Moon is the top one in the last 30 minutes with 140 sales. Then the next one is WVRPS with 58 sales, and so on and so forth. Now, when you're really trying to flip, you want the 1 or 5 minute chart. Let's go to the 5 minute, because you want to see the top projects that are booming, and you want to compare that every 5 minutes, right? So that you can get a good idea. So you see here, one that we saw in the 30 minutes is still there, the Annie Moon, but the WVRPS has fallen down on the 5 minute. So Annie Moon seems to be pumping. Now, you want to carry on watching that. And if this number of sales, and you can also jump to OpenSea and see the number of sales, if this number of sales is increasing, then you can assume very, very short term that this price is going to continue increasing. So you can wait to see for a few minutes of the increase. Once you're confident it then goes 64, 65, 66, then you can come in, buy in, and when you start seeing it go 63, 62, 61, 60, you sell out. And that's a very short-term flipping strategy. Now, I would actually sit on the 1 minute chart for that because I don't want to wait 20 minutes waiting for the 5 minutes to reflect, because by then your opportunity might be gone. So you'd sit here, wait a minute, see if this number goes up or down, wait another minute. If it goes up twice in a row, buy in. If it goes down twice in a row, get out. Okay? And at the floor. Not worried about traits, because in the end of the day, these collections could go to zero in 6 hours, and you don't care if you've got the most rare or not. You don't care who the team is. You are simply being a degen, and you are flipping short term. Now, the very important thing to take into account when you're doing this is you have to know your costs. So the cost of the floor of this particular NFT is 0.17. But as we've said before, when you buy that, you're going to have to pay gas. Gas is currently 112. That will equate to 0.3 plus minus, 0.03, sorry, plus minus. So you buying in for 0.21. When you sell at 0.21, you're paying 10%. 7.5 on average to the collection and 2.5 to OpenSea. So 0.21, if you sell it at 0.25, you now paying another 0.025 on top of that. So you've got to have a spreadsheet with your costs so that you know, okay, all in after I sell it, my cost on this is actually going to be 0.23. Is more like it on a 0.17. So what is the point of me selling at 0.24? There's no point. You want to ideally try and sell at 0.3, somewhere around there, if you want to make any sort of profit. Because remember, you're taking a risk here. And look what just happened. It's gone from 11 to 7. So now everyone is going to quickly try and sell. So the risk
just
has
dropped
got
to 4. Just dropped
there
to
we
4.
go. So that's what's happening. But I don't know how long it's been on this chart. But the bottom line is that the risk has got to justify the reward. And that's why you want to try and identify projects before they're at such a high floor price of 0.17. You ideally want to try and identify projects on these charts that are sitting at 0.02, 0.03, somewhere around there, because it's more realistic that those will reach a 0.1 than it is than a 0.171 will reach a 0.3, right? So that's flipping. And the tool that I'm looking at here, as we said, is IC Tools. The other nice thing about IC Tools is you can actually see the minting trends as well. So you're not only watching what's selling on the secondary market, but also the mints. You can create watch lists, which have got certain things. So you can choose which projects to put in those watch lists. You can create your own feeds. But if we want to see what's minting at the moment, we can go to Discover. And you can see the Animoon is the one we've been looking at. That's what's minting at the moment. And interestingly enough, the mint price is 0.2. So people are actually selling it down at the moment. That's why there's so many transactions. So it is very important to know whether it's a minted project or one that's already been minted. So it seems like this project is not doing well. It's literally being minted now, and the floor price is already half of the mint price, which is a big, big warning sign. The other thing you've got to be careful of with this type of degen flipping is to make sure whatever projects you're looking into are not free mints. Because if they free mints, they're going to blow up these charts. You're going to see 1,000 mints in 1 minute. You're going to think, oh my God, what is this? You're going to go to OpenSea and you're going to end up paying 0.1 for something that costs 0. And everyone is in it for 0. They're all going to be happy to sell at 0.05. And you're going to be stuck holding the bag. So you can't just use the 1 minute trending. That's not okay. You've got to make sure that you use all the information that you have at your disposal. Sorry, my laptop just unplugged itself. There we go. It's plugged back in. Okay, so that's the one side. That's the one side. Degen flipping. The other thing good to know in degen flipping is you want to have a good alpha group. or 2. You want to be in Discords with guys you trust that have good alpha, and often they'll make calls and they'll say, look, this is going to pump and whatever. And if you know the guys made good calls before, then that's a great way to know which projects to get into before they even appear on the charts, right? The other approach, what you can do is to mint with the intention of flipping at some stage in the short term. So here, you do want to look at the roadmap. You do want to understand the team because you want to know that it's got good short-term potential at the very least. And typically, if you can get whitelist on a mint that's very hyped, let's say got 50,000 in the Discord, 100,000 on Twitter, everyone's talking about it. If you can get whitelist on those and the mint price is fair, let's say 0.1, maximum 0.2, before reveal, you could almost always sell at a 5x. Really. So if you look even at Ox Origin that we looked at before reveal, hit all the way 1.8. So if you had bought in there, you could easily sell at 1.2, not even wait for the top, and maybe even hold one. Then you've paid for both your mints. And if you believe in it long term, you can hold it, right? But there you want to try and get in as low as possible, which is why I'm saying you want to mint with the intention of selling at least one. And when would you want to sell? Make sure you sell pre-reveal. I would find out exactly what time reveal is, and literally 30 minutes before reveal, go in there and sell, because that's really when it's going to be the highest price. If you love the project, once the artwork comes out, 99% of the time the floor drops, because there's a lot of people that were expecting a rare and they didn't get it. There's some people that like the design but don't like their particular NFT and want to sell theirs and get one that they like, even though they love the project. And you find that typically there's up to a 50% drop post-reveal. So 24 hours after reveal, then it starts to normalize again. And there, so you can buy in those minutes after reveal. If you wait a few hours after reveal and let it go down a bit, if you see it's going down, you can often buy at mint, sell pre-reveal, and then buy in again at a 50% discount if you want to be in the project long term. So that's another type of flipping. Obviously, that comes with doing research on Twitter, Instagram, following notable people on Twitter, seeing what the hyped projects are going to be, going into those Discords, going onto those Twitters, like what we do for you here, and identifying those that are going to be hyped. Now, there is still risk with that, because there was an example of Al Capone's, which was early on. You remember that, Morland?
Yeah, I remember that project. Yeah.
That was probably the most hyped project of its time. Up until then, there was never projects with 200,000 in Discord. People were selling their cars to get Ethereum. This was a sure thing. You were going to buy in at 0.1 before they did a whitelist. Before they opened to the public, the floor was at 3 or 4 Ethereum. Okay. And then the public came and it was a huge mess up. The contract failed. There was big problems and people lost a lot of money. So the bottom line is that when you're buying into new projects, you do not know what you're getting, right? You think you know, you can do your research, even if the team has the best intentions, which let's assume Al Capone's did. They could still have a stuff up in the contract, a stuff up in the artwork that makes your NFT worthless. And if you caught holding that bag, you've lost what you've invested. If you minted it, your risk is less because you paid the lowest you possibly could, especially if it's on pre-sale. But we are seeing projects at the moment that are selling at 1 ETH pre-sale, like a JRNY, this Your Mama's House that's coming up by Sheldon, this other YouTuber. They're minting at 1 ETH. That's the starting price. That's not a small investment. So you got to know, buying into new projects, even with doing your own research and everything we discussed, which I'm going to link above, doing your own research, all those different things, look into the utility, the team, the community, all of that is still risky. So then we get to another type of flipping, which is when you buy off the secondary market. So you look at projects that have been around for a bit longer, that have a track record, that you can see have delivered on their roadmap, and you buy into them at a point that you think is the lowest, with the intention of selling when it pumps. Now, this works really well in market dips. You'll see when Ethereum price goes up, when gas, there was a time 6 weeks ago where gas was on average 300, on average, sometimes hit 5,000. On average, you couldn't find gas cheaper than 280 for weeks. And that obviously affects a lot of NFTs, especially the lower valued ones, right? That's a great time to be sniping good projects that you've pre-identified, that you know you want to get into. But at the moment, with what market we're in now, it's not the time to get into those. Because you're paying the absolute top. And a lot of this has to do with your entry price. No matter what strategy you choose, the cheaper you buy, the better, and the higher you sell, the better. Okay, it sounds obvious, but that's what you're trying. That's what you're trying to achieve. So what you could do is you could identify on the secondary market already existing projects that you've looked into that you really want to be involved in. And you maybe have 5 or 10. And if you look on my screen, we don't have to look. I've got a whole bookmark tab saying NFTs to buy. And I haven't bought any of them in this market at the moment, but I watch them and I watch the price. And, Al Capone's was one of them on there. Sorry, not Al Capone's. What are those llamas? Alka Packets.
Alpacatraz.
Alpacatraz was one of them on there.
One.
So I had one. I had bought in when the market was horrible at 0.2. When it hit 1 ETH the other day, I sold. It went to 1.3 ETH. I did a lot more research, and they've got a lot coming out. Metaverse Land they've already bought. Okay, Sandbox and NFT Worlds. They've got 3D llamas coming out. They've got VX llamas coming out, all free to mint. Like amazing stuff what they're doing. And I thought, shit, I maybe shouldn't have sold. This was a long-term hold that I didn't know what they had done so much. And I should have looked into that because it went from 0.2 to 1. I should have known. But I just thought market conditions are great. And then I watched it for days. I'm talking in this market now. And I saw one day it hit 0.78. And I bought one at 0.78, and then now again at 1.1 or whatever. But I wanted to get back in, but I didn't go straight away and get back in because it was 1.2, 1.3. I watched it for days. So you want to be careful with your buy-in point. That's really, really important. And obviously the price that you sell at.
Well, and you also mentioned something there about keeping on top of the projects, right? Like if you are looking to flip, you got to remember that, hey, I have this project sitting in my back pocket. I wonder what they're doing today in their Discord, and keep on top of it. They could be pumping out announcements and the price could be going through the roof, and you're just sitting there and you have no clue, and you miss that pump, and then it comes back down, right? And then you're left holding the bag. So staying involved in those communities.
Go check the Discord 100%. The trouble, the difficulty with me, honestly, is that literally there's 100 different projects that I've got an NFT of. And sometimes, you're just on a selling spree, and also if you are a flipper, and I'm not saying I am, in some projects I'm a diamond at, but at Doge Pound, I haven't wanted to sell ever, even when it went to 4 ETH. My mutant, even though I flipped it, I wanted to get back in. I did get back in. So that's the other side, is that even if you're in a project that you've looked into and you want to hold long term, you believe in it long term, there are times where there's opportunities to sell and then buy back in. Now, you don't have a crystal ball. You don't know if you're going to be able to buy back in. And that happened to me on Doodles. As you know, I sold at 2.8 or whatever, and I intended to buy back in. It will never get below 5 ever again, even in the worst condition, right? And I think it probably won't get below 10. So you'll miss some, but there's a lot of projects out there, so you will miss some in the end of the day. But with me, there is, I would say 80% of my projects that I'm involved in, there is a price that I've predetermined that I will sell no matter what, and with the intention of buying back in. If I can, if I can't, I leave the project and I move on. And that price depends on how invested I am in it. The more I like it, the more long-term value it has. Like we said the other day, right? I wouldn't sell my mutant for anything. And you were like, 100 ETH? 50 ETH? Yeah. 30 ETH? Probably, right? but not a 15, right? So there is a point where you want to take your profits, and it's, people are funny. They tend to think just because we're in a bull market now, we're always going to be in a bull market. And then when we're in a bear market, we're always going to be in a bear market. And it's not the case. So in a bull market, my approach is not to sell everything, but to sell a lot of what I can, with the intention of buying back in the bear market. And obviously, I do lose opportunities of some, one or two get away from me, World of Woman, Doodles, but I'm able to buy back into most of them, and I've pocketed 2 or 3 ETH in each of them along the way.
Yeah. It's worked out in your favor for sure in a lot of different flipping cases. Like you've made profit, and then there's been ones where you wish you maybe hadn't sold it, but you still made profit, right?
For sure. But I do think if I had held on to my top 2 or 3 that I didn't know were my top 2 or 3 at the time, like my Doodles, my World of Woman, I would be in a better situation financially than I am now. I would be more profitable than I am now if I just held, you know. But again, I mean, it's hard to calculate because the money that I got from selling, I did use to reinvest in NFTs and made profits along the way, which I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So it's difficult to know. And that's the point, is there's value in all approaches. But I think what's important is to weigh up your personal risk factor and then have a strategy that fits in with that risk factor.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And I just wanted to show you before I jump to you, Morland. Sorry, my man.
No
another
worries.
great tool is mobi.gg. Okay, and we'll put links to all these tools. So you've got IC tools, the one I showed you that shows you the minting per minute, as well as the trending on OpenSea per minute. Then you've got this other one called Mobi, which is very similar. Also shows you trending, mints, sales. But the nice thing about Mobi is that you can follow whales. And that's a big part of, regardless of your strategy, whales are a big part of this, because whales are guys with huge wallets, but also not just rich guys who know the space, have a lot of connections in the space, like a Gary Vee, for example, and may have access to alpha information that most people don't know yet. And it's sort of insider trading if you think about it. So what people do is they tend to track his wallet. And if they see that he's aping into a project, which means buying a lot of a project, they will blindly follow that. And that strategy can work. Now, obviously, you've got to be careful of a lot of things. A lot of clever projects, when they mint, they airdrop a lot of their NFTs to the notable wallets so that it looks to people like those guys are actually minting that NFT themselves. So you do have to look at those transactions when it's a mint transaction. But when it's on the secondary market, it's very easy to see it came from his wallet, he paid X amount, and it went to another wallet. That's a transaction. So Mobi's is a great tool to be able to follow whales, and here it shows you whales. And you can then go in and you can look at their trading history. And another great tool, which we'll go through in a separate episode because it's a whole episode on its own, is Nansen. And over there, you can dig into these whales. I mean, here you can a bit, but on Nansen, you can dig into those whales so deeply. You can look at every transaction, what they bought, what they sold, and it sums it up for you. And that if you really getting into this as a full-time degen or full-time NFT trader, you need to have Nansen. But you can see here on Mobi, much cheaper, much more affordable. You can get alerts when they buy or sell certain things. And you can also follow particular wallets. So, like, let's say you think that I invest well, which I do not. You could get my wallet address, right? And you could then, all right. So, how do you get my wallet address? So you know that I've got my mutant ape, which my wife. This is the surprise.
Oh, nice! She finished it.
A painting for me of my mutant, which is going on the wall with
a live hang up. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
live installation.
In the 1920s, a live hanging was very different. But you see, there's my mutant right under my wolf. But you could find that mutant very easily on my Discord. It's got even my mutant number, and you can then see who owns it, and you could click on that, and you could put that wallet's address and follow me. I do not advise it. I'm a mixture of both approached, and I don't do any of what I've just advised you. I work purely on emotion and ape into stuff. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. But I must say, as I said, and I really want to hand over to Morland because diamond handing is important. But I must say that if I had to choose which approach I think is most profitable, I would be a diamond hander. I would relax. I would take my time to research, and I would hold those projects long term. And
Yeah.
with that, I hand over to you to tell us how to do that, Eve.
How to be diamond hands. Really, you just got to block out the noise. You just got to, honestly, it's tough because there is so much noise. There's people talking about how much money they made this week flipping this or that NFT, or people showing off their mutants or whatever they bought and it's at a 14 ETH floor. So that makes it tough to hold on to these projects that haven't really moved since you minted it or since you bought in on the secondary or whatever. But you have to have conviction behind that and block out that noise and just trust that the team that you've hopefully looked into is going to deliver on their project, right? Like you should be choosing the art because you like the art and you're okay with holding on to it, or that it has some sort of utility that is important to you. And a perfect example of that for me is I just want to show off one of the ones that I hold. I'm involved in this project called Lost Boys NFT. And I bought off the secondary. I didn't get in on the mint, but their main focus is mental health. Their Discord is a great place for anyone searching for help with their mental health, looking for a community, looking for friends, whatever. So that was honestly what drew me to this. And then I just got sucked in and I was involved in the community before I even bought one. And then I just decided, hey, I'm going to buy one. And I picked up this guy. So this is my Lost Boy. And I'm happy
Wow,
to.
he's cool.
Yeah, so they have cool moving background. They actually have music to it. I'll play the music too.
And do you own the rights to the music also?
Yeah, so that's all part of it as well. So I have the rights to my Lost Boy, to my moving background, and to that music. And then there's even more like that. It's gonna be hard for me to get it all into one video here because of everything that they're delivering, right? Like that's why I stuck with the project because the community was great. That's awesome, but they're delivering on every single piece of their roadmap. And at one point, the floor was below 0.01. I was looking
And
at
what did you buy in at?
I bought mine at 0.04. And
Wow.
I was looking at honestly getting a second at one point, but gas was ridiculous. I looked at one, it was 0.006, I think, something like that. So
Mm.
super cheap, like $30. But the gas was through the roof. It was going to be $300, so I couldn't justify it. But again, I didn't care about that floor price. The team doesn't care about the floor price. They're just focused on delivering their roadmap, and they've done it, and it's shown in the floor price. The floor price is now 0.08, 0.079. So yeah, like I could
Yeah, and
sell
you
right
said that
now. I could sell right now and I'd be in profits on this thing, but I don't plan on doing that. Right?
so we spoke in the introduction about red flags. One of the
Yeah.
big red flags for me now that I'm more seasoned in the space is when projects are obsessed with floor price,
Mm-hmm.
and when they're using measures to artificially inflate the floor price. So
Yeah.
I used to think it was a positive in my early days. I really did. But now when I see on the roadmap one of the deliverables is to be buying up the floor, that is a big warning sign for me, because it means that they feeling that the floor's going to be under the mint price, and they're going to need to do that, number
Yeah,
one. And number two, like you said, if you have a plan, a long-term plan, and it takes time to set things up, things don't happen overnight, and you got a good team that's focused on that plan, then temporarily, who cares what it does? Because long term, it is going to deliver. It will. And
exactly.
when it does, it's going to go through the roof. So it's
And for
interesting you
me,
said that, you know.
and for me personally as well, the utility that this NFT delivers is one that I want to have for life. I don't plan on flipping this thing. I want to be part of the Lost Boy community and benefit from the things they're delivering. And yeah, I think it's great. Uh, on the other side of things, I do have some buys that didn't work out for me, and I've kind of been forced to be diamond handed. So that goes into the category of I invested money that I was willing to lose. Right? Like this project, I was trying to get in on the mint. The mint was hyped. It was insane. I couldn't mint one. My transactions kept failing. And then I was watching the secondary market, like trying to find a price I could get in at. And if I had known your tools, I could have known that this thing was slowly coming down, and well, not slowly, fairly quickly coming down. And I bought in at like 0.05 or something. But if you look at the transactions on that one, give me a second, I'll pull that one up before I share my screen. Again, I bought into this because I did my research. I thought it was a great project, and it still is. Like the team hasn't gone
And
anywhere.
it might still deliver. You never know. It might
Exactly.
not, and that's why we say the space is risky. But
Yeah.
it might still deliver. I mean, there's
But
projects
the
that
team
I've
hasn't
sold.
gone anywhere. They're still working hard and they're still delivering, even though honestly every single day I go into the Discord and I just see what's going on. There's people coming in every day just to bash the project, just to say that they're disappointed in it, whatever. And the team is still there, like, well, sorry you feel that way, but we're still working on it. We haven't gone anywhere, like, and they're delivering too. So let me just pull this up quickly. It's a tiny paw. So they had a really great burning mechanism, like a trading mechanism. So you could collect 3 of these guys, trade them in, and you would get a one-off unique tiny paw. And I thought with the fact that it looks cute, it's kind of like the Hello Kitty. People are going to be wanting these things for sure. It's deflationary. People are going to be buying them up to burn and get their limited edition ones. This is a no-brainer. I can hold this for a little bit and maybe flip it. So you can see the price. Originally, it was minted. They minted for 0.06, I think. Listed for 0.21, and it sold at 0.21. And then this guy kept listing at 0.29, 0.055, 0.052, and then that's when I bought it. So again, I've been holding this thing for 3 months. The floor price on these guys is pretty dismal, 0.01. That's up, to be honest, from what it has been at. But again, this team is still working. They haven't gone anywhere. Just want to show what they're working on quickly because I think it's really cool. They've listened to the community and they've pivoted away from the trade series just being specific styles, and they did like a horror film version where you would get your cat would look like Chucky or something. The community was screaming for cyber paws. They wanted a cyber paw. So they listened, and for the last 2-3 months, they've been working on this new trade system, an entire new staking system. So like, again, I keep saying it, but the team is still working. And as long as the team's still working on it, there's still hope. So I just want to
Yeah,
play this
for
quick so
sure.
you get a look. It's kind of cool. It got me hyped for being a holder. So a lot of stuff going on here. So it's pretty cool. Like they've introduced this entire ecosystem of staking your NFTs to earn their token. That token is used to upgrade your cyberpaw. Like the stuff, the work going into this project is actually really unbelievable. And the technology like the trading mechanic they've come up with, like it is really impressive. Just unfortunately for them, it didn't didn't take off.
Timing. Could have been timing with gas. That's why I say the team is so important. And even when we covered the whitelist yesterday as one of our hype projects, I mentioned how bullish it was for me that the guys involved have been very successful in their careers. So, Jordan was an NFL player, a very successful one, and in the end of the day, the determination of the team is a huge thing, the head team. Because if they say, look, we're in this forever, we'll ride it all the way up or all the way down, we're not going anywhere. And if they're capable guys with that feeling, then it's going to do well in the long term. Another example of that, in my opinion, one that I hold, was Space Punks. So Space Punks I bought into high at like 0.3, 0.4. And I've held them all the way, haven't sold any. They're now 0.13, and that's, as you say, up. They were as low as 0.09, 0.09. Yeah, they were as low as about 0.09. But again, I know the team. I know what they're working on. They communicate to me, to the community, not just me, what they're working on, what they've got planned. And, I'm happy to hold. I believe in the project long term. So I do think a big thing in in a long-term investing is don't worry too much about the floor price. And you don't need to be, because if you've done your research properly, then it will get there. And speaking of the whitelist, the upcoming NFT, hyped NFT that we featured yesterday, which I will link in this video. I don't know. I gotta get the right.
Where it is?
It's the opposite way around. Yeah, but I will link it afterwards when we edit. We gave away whitelist spots, so I did say yesterday that I was going to announce it live. So we have. Wasn't going to work it out live, but I've compiled the list here. So if you just share my screen.
Share your screen, yep.
So we've compiled the list of our 25, and then we're going to go live onto the NFT show Discord over here, and we're going to say congratulations to our whitelist winners, and hopefully some guys from the Discord are watching. They're going to see this live. Right. We're going to take out that to our whitelist winners. Yeah. It's so confusing.
A little redundant, but that's okay.
Whitelist NFT whitelist winners. And then we're going to list them there. So that's done live. And then once we're in the Discord, we've been saying, the first 50 people that come in here will get OG roll. We've already got 16 online and 26 offline. So that's
42.
41, 42.
Yeah,
26 and 60. Well, changing. You're right. So it's 42. Got 42. So we've literally got 8 spaces left for OG. The next 8 people that come in to our Discord and join will be given OG roll, and then that is closed. Those are the OGs for the space, for our project, our early supporters, and already we've delivered some value to them in these whitelist spots, and we are honestly just getting started. I can't even tell you guys that we are that team that we spoke about. We're determined. We're committed to this. We're not going anywhere. And wherever it takes us. But we are going to continue delivering good value, good content indefinitely, and we are not stopping. So please like, subscribe, come join the Discord. We at just under, before I checked, 250 YouTube subscribers, but I mean just under, like 248 or something like that. So we're almost halfway to our 500 goal, short-term goal. When we get to 500 on air, one of those 500 YouTube subscribers are going to be given 0.1 ETH, and we will then launch a new giveaway for a next milestone that we get to. But halfway there already. I think it's been about 2 weeks now, maybe a little bit more.
Just over 2 weeks. Yeah.
Just over 2 weeks.
We've done a total of 14 episodes, I think. 15 episodes. Yeah.
All right. So it's about 3 weeks, because we do five a week. So 3 weeks. Always the beginning ones are the hardest. It's a lot.
Quick question from a viewer. Gaz just got whitelist. He's wondering how they know they won whitelist spot.
So Gaz, it works differently with every project. So let me just show you on my screen here once you're here. So every project will determine, they'll tell you how they want it. So basically what the whitelist asked me to do, I'll go into the whitelist Discord for you. I think it's here. Again, I got too many channels, guys. Here's the whitelist Discord. I've got a ticket open between Jordan and I. Jordan here is the owner that we spoke about, one of the founders. And then we've come here, and you'll see that I've sent him all the Discord usernames, which is what he asked me to do. So I've sent him all the Discord names, and then he created a special invite link that when you join the Discord with this link, then they will know who you are, and they will assign you whitelist roles. Different projects do it differently. Sometimes they ask for wallet address, which is what I actually thought would have happened. But then he asked me rather to do it this way, which is what we've done. So I put a notice in our Discord earlier under announcements before we gave the winners' names, and we just said everyone who submitted their wallet to that wallet address, they ask you please to join their Discord using the following invite only. Very important, if you're already in the Discord, please leave the Discord and rejoin with the link below. Now we're talking about the whitelist Discord so that they can track who it is. So different projects do it differently, guys. But usually, like in our situation, we are dictated to by the project that we deal with. So whatever suits them, however they want it, that's how we do it. Other times, the way we've done it is submitted forms. We get everyone just to fill out a form. It's really completely up to the project. But congratulations on winning whitelist. I think it's a great project. I know they tweeted about us earlier today as well. And again, it's been a pleasure dealing with Jordan. So really great. And we look forward to bringing you guys a lot more whitelists in the future.
Yeah. And again, tomorrow we're back again, bringing you more NFT news and alpha and projects that have already launched that are good buys to consider. Correct? That's tomorrow's show, right?
So that's exactly what we've been discussing tonight, right?
Yeah.
We want to try and help identify the diamond handers in you who want to know which projects should be top of your radar for when the market price looks right to buy in. So tomorrow's show is going to be bringing you those sort of blue chip or OG projects that are already minted on OpenSea. And I think when we're looking at it, we'll maybe touch on what we think are buy-in values there. Again, we know nothing, but we'll try to guide you. But it's going to be a couple of projects that are really great projects that have newly minted. So NFT Worlds, My Pet Hooligan, Clone X. And then what we're going to do the following week is bring you the same thing, but in projects with a low floor price, like 0.05 to maybe 0.2 ETH, because we know the ones we're featuring tomorrow are sort of upper shelf stuff. And then next week, we're going to bring you the entry level stuff, secondary market available. So really lots of exciting stuff. We've also got our first interview with a really great project next week. And what I consider an OG in the space, they've been around for 4 to 5 months. They're well recognized. I'm looking forward to that, but we'll keep who it is a secret. So lots of great stuff. Please continue to tune in. Remember, like and subscribe, hit the bell so that you know when we're going online. And we will see you tomorrow night for another episode of the NFT Show.
See you guys. Peace.